Hello and welcome to the Weekly Scroll podcast. My name is Ryan.
Oh, my name is Stella. We talked about this beforehand. I'm Stella Condrey. I am a writer of various adventures with a focus on the horrific and the strange.
My name is Adam. I make games as World Champ Game Co., including some of the best horror on tabletops today. And all my stuff is at worldchamp.io.
And I'm Josh Domanski. I will be your GM or facilitator for tonight. Most noteworthy for writing and doing design work in the tabletop RPG scene. And officially, as of this summer, one of the now and future partners for the Liminal Horror Initiative.
Fantastic.
Making systems and adventures and stuff.
Very excited for everything that's going to come out of that. I already have the con copy of the Bloom. I'm excited to get the SPI copy of the Bloom. But today, here, right now, what we're doing on the Weekly Scroll is SideQuests. So for those that are unaware, I believe this is episode 3. The point of SideQuests is to take games that we've reviewed on the podcast and do a one-shot, a lot of times with Josh running it, so I don't have to, or with the creator of the game, who also basically at this point, as he just said, it's Josh as well, so that works out great for us. It is Friday the 13th, so we are doing a Friday the 13th inspired liminal horror adventure, and that's all I'm going to say about it. If you are watching this, the gear of SideQuest is to kind of teach the game as we play a little bit, so as we go through, we'll probably be stopping to make sure that the rules are clear as we go, and other than that, we will be experiencing some horror in the liminal spaces, I guess. Josh, what are we doing? Where are we going?
All right. Do you want me to talk about the system itself? Or
yeah, if you want to just do like a
right.
quick rule summary, let me get that tossed up.
All right. So Liminal Horror has a pretty easy to interpret lineage. Liminal Horror itself is technically a hack of Cairn, which is a hack of Into the Odd and Knave, pulling some of the good elements between those two and smashing them together. So if you have played any sort of any Into the Odd or Into the Odd derivative game, you probably got a pretty good idea of how to play Liminal Horror. Your characters have 3 core ability scores. These are strength, dexterity, and control. And, strength and dexterity being pretty straightforward. Control is how your character deals with social settings, emotions, and more specifically how they deal with stress and the weird things that you encounter over the course of your adventure. If you're looking to do something risky, you roll a d20 and you're looking for equal to or under your ability score. Now, characters also have what's called hit protection. This is your character's ability to avoid serious harm, and this is both physical damage as well as sort of stress, which stress in our system is the toll that seeing and interacting with horrors takes upon your characters. Now, one of the key elements here, again, as any Into the Odd system uses as well, when you get into combat, there is no roll to hit. You simply roll the associated damage dice with whatever attack that you're currently trying to complete. And that total is applied versus the target's hit protection. If that is less than their total hit protection, then in theory, the character has avoided damage. They've avoided taking serious harm. So maybe it makes contact, but deals a flesh wound, gives you a bruise, or misses entirely. It's when hit protection is depleted entirely that damage now starts to apply to your character's ability scores. If you're taking physical damage, somebody swinging a baseball bat at you, or a clawed man is grasping at you, that will apply directly to your strength score. If you are taking damage that inherently attempts to slow or stop your character, that applies to your dexterity score. The example I like to use is a giant spider shooting its web at you. It's going to gum you up and slow you down so that it could kind of go in and eat you effectively. So that applies to dexterity. And control is most commonly used when stress exceeds your hit protection. Now, stress can be generated or applied directly by the horrors themselves due to some, of their inherent abilities. Or, as I said, it happens when you see spooky things, kind of disturbing things. You walk in and the librarian has a knife in their back. There you go, there's stress. When your character takes stress, and this is a core part of liminal horror, and this is where it diverges from the base mechanics. When you take stress and stress exceeds your hit protection and applies to control, your character must make a control save. If they fail that save, they take fallout. Now, fallout is a mechanical representation of the horrors having a tangible effect on your characters. These are your characters changing inherently as they encounter these horrible things. As a general basis, fallout makes your characters a little weirder and a little bit stronger. So you're fundamentally changing from where you start this adventure to where your characters eventually end up, assuming they don't die, because, this is a horror system, so that is a possibility. And from there, that's pretty much it. You have spooky stuff happen to you. Fallout is effectively your character progression. So in order to get stronger or more capable of taking on these tasks, you have to put yourself in harm's way. We can go from there. Again, if we have any questions throughout the stream, feel free to stop me. I will be happy to explain any and every one of these mechanics as we see them in practice.
Right. Let's get spooky.
On to the adventure. Yeah. All right, first, it's time to chill a little bit. Now, the adventure that we were running today, it's called Camp Coldwater. This is, for those of you who are watching, it's a little bit of a sneak peek for what you may come to find in the Liminal Horror Deluxe Edition. It's this hardcover that we are working on. That'll be out sometime in 2024 if everything works out according to plan. It is worth noting that this is in its infancy. The things that you might see today might be totally different by the time they do end up in the core book, but in theory, it'll be very similar to the end experience. Now, this adventure serves as a prequel to The Bloom. The Bloom being the most recent Liminal Horror module. We put out digital files a month or two ago, and the physical the physical form, the zine print, has finally hit Space Penguin this past Wednesday. If you would like to pick up a copy of this, they are running a 13% off sale for Friday the 13th. That includes all printed zines, if I remember correctly. But really, you're going to go there for The Bloom because this is good. Now, The Bloom takes place in the town of Coldwater. It's this small town, and in terms of like the quote-unquote liminal horror canon, it's set in southern Washington state, in the Pacific Northwest United States, but Coldwater is sort of inherently written to be able to be placed anywhere that has mountains and rivers and streams and whatnot, so you don't have to use that exact setting. But Coldwater is a quiet, quaint town that is inherently conservative in a lot of ways. It doesn't change much over the last 30 or 40 years. The citizens themselves are sort of resistant to any sort of that type of change that you might bring in. They think their town has this sort of rustic charm, and really it's sort of just a refusal to let the past go. Now, in The Bloom, you will be running all over this region, dealing with, there's farms, there's a big gas station, there's the lake itself, there's a fire watch tower, and all manner of things that you can kind of visit and go in between. What we are going to do is focus on one of these locations. That is Camp Coldwater. Now, before we begin in proper, a short introduction. As I said, Coldwater, the town of Coldwater, lies tucked right between a few mountains in southern Washington. It's a few hours away from the hustle and bustle of the big city. It was once a thriving bed of tourism, and now it's seen better days. However, it still remains a key launching point for outdoor enthusiasts, sitting right on the edge of a pristine lake, as well as a fair number of trailheads. People come here to see the sights, go up the mountains, fish in the river, boat on the lake, so on and so forth. Now, the tourism season is just about over. It is mid-October. Coincidentally, Friday the 13th. Didn't rain today, but it did rain yesterday and the day before that. And there's some concern over the various trails as fall weather inches ever closer to winter. You know, where the mountains start to build up a little more snow, and it makes it a little more dangerous to kind of send folks up there. But you guys are headed to Camp Coldwater for a 3-day weekend. It's the last hurrah of the season, so to speak. Even if you did get a little bit of a late start. Now, I'll give you guys a chance to introduce your characters, well, to me, to the audience, and to each other. It doesn't really matter who goes first, so anyone who wants to speak up can take the reins. Oh, hold on. Name, basic description, give your character background, because that's kind of important, and anything else about their background that you rolled that you think might be relevant for this adventure.
All right. I guess I will go first. I'm going to be playing Rosie. She is a relatively short, but very well-built goth woman who primarily works as a garbage collector under most circumstances. She is very, very cautious. However, at one point, the thing that kind of touched her and led her on to the idea that there is something out there. At one point, I think she read something that she wasn't supposed to read somewhere on a forum that she maybe wasn't supposed to be on.
I'm playing Grom, whose Christian name is Greg. He's a skater. He's sort of just a archetypal stoner, burnout kind of dude. Has these strange dreams that he can't quite explain, but figures it's the universe pulling him in whatever direction, and he's just kind of going with the flow, man.
What does Grom look like in terms of general aesthetic?
Grom wears the sort of baggy cargo pants, got like an olive green, like I'm kind of picturing like a more stoned Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
More stoned.
Yeah,
more like, I guess, like human, like less cartoon. Well,
Yeah.
he's a cartoon human.
Yeah.
I'm playing Cormac. I wear my work uniform apparently, which is just my scrubs. The only color I own in real life is black, so that's what we'll go with. I have apparently an athletic build and a forgettable face. Gravelly speech, which we'll get to. I believe that everything has a rational explanation rooted in science, but at some point lost a loved one under mysterious circumstance. And I am cautious, but vengeful. So I basically me in real life. And that's, I think that's it.
Now, before we begin proper, we're going to do a little bit of world building, or at least narrative design. I don't know. How's that work? So I'm going to ask a few establishing questions. You guys can work together to find the answers. Now, first, why are you friends? Why are you together on this trip, going out to a campground for a 3-day weekend? What is it that has brought you and your friend group together? Just to give you a heads up, it's not just you.
Yeah, because we have a nurse, a garbage collector, and a stoner skater. I don't know. Do we have a common plug? I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. That's what my thought was.
Is it you, Cormac? You work in a medical
diversion
facility.
is a serious. So just in case IRL. Nursing Association of California, this is all RP. I could be. That works. But yeah, I think I forgot my background. I rolled EMT, but I can't go EMT when I'm a nurse IRL, so I just went with nurse. So I think that makes the most sense. I don't know if Stella, that was the first thing you thought of as well. Yeah, let's just go drugs.
Yeah, it's the
When in
great
doubt.
unifier.
All right, so the drugs brought you together. Do you share a deeper friendship, or is it purely transactional? How are you connected as characters to each other outside of that one point?
I feel like it definitely started out pretty transactional, but like we're just kind of weird enough people that we kind of just stuck together, you know? Like that seems about right.
Yeah, I'm into that.
I feel like if I somehow am the plug, I would definitely be the kind that, like, since someone abandoned me, I mean, one of the other traits I have is abandoned, and I lost a loved one under mysterious circumstances. So I guess I feel like everyone leaves me. So when people come over, I want them to stay. So I can imagine being like, oh, you want drugs? Why don't you also have, like, cookies and watch some TV or something, And it just kind of became a space.
The dealer who's actually cool to hang out with.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And as I alluded to, you're not alone on this journey together. You were the larger group of friends. In fact, there are 3 other individuals that are present with you on this 3-day vacation. I need each of you to tell me who one of these people are, who they are, what they look like, if it's relevant, what they do, and how they are connected to your character specifically. If you can remember all those things and come up with something in 3 seconds.
Okay, I think I've got one. My cousin Henry, he's really tall, lanky, and ginger. Is that it? The connection look like name?
What's Henry do?
Henry? I think he works at a gas station, like convenience store kind of situation.
Perfect. Either of you can go next if you have ideas.
My boss, Richard, came on the trip with us. We work at the head shop together, and I told him about this trip that I was going on, and rather than just give me the time off, he closed the store for the weekend so that he could come with.
Perfect. What does Richard look like?
White guy with dreads. Regrettable. Has like new age spiritual tattoo sleeves. Is just sort of a person who takes from every culture he finds interesting, which is every culture that he encounters, just like a citizen of the world.
And how about our last friend?
I will say names are the hardest thing for me. It took me like 45 minutes to pick mine. So I'll get back to that. But I'll say it is a fellow nurse, but a travel nurse that's probably been at our hospital on contract for a little bit too long. They as travel nurses are wont to do, and not many people will get this, but if you do, that's cool. They have figs. And they're a little bit too tight in the jogger style. What else do we need?
General aesthetic, I think. You gave me the connection and is also the job. Just what they look like, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's go average nurse, like 5'3", blonde, like I said, expensive nursing equipment. We'll go with that. With all their travel nurse money. And her name is Jill.
Jill, perfect.
Is she a TikTok nurse?
Yes, 1000%. I had to go through every travel nurse in my head to go, I can't say that name, I can't say that name, they can't think this in real life. Okay. So yes, Jill, the TikTok influencer travel nurse.
Oh.
All right. Now, also, I think this is going to be my final question, at least to start here. All of you travel together in one vehicle, the 6 of you. What is that vehicle? Who owns it? And who is driving?
It's got to be Henry's, like, stoner van, right?
You mean? Oh, I think Henry's my cousin, but also, yeah, you know what? My cousin's big ass car that could also be fun.
He works at a gas station, so I feel like,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
filled up and got us.
yeah. No, that's why I brought my cousin on the trip because he's the one with the car.
Yeah.
Perfect. And is Henry driving that?
Yeah, I think Henry's driving it. I think it's I'm gonna say it's yellow. I don't know enough about cars, but I do know it's yellow. So that's the one little bit of looks I'll give for it. Big old yellow car.
Perfect. And I lied. I did have one more question. Whose fault is it that you're running behind?
I think it might be Henry's, right?
Okay.
There seems like he's the only responsible.
No, I think it might be mine because I have to pee so much. I've got a tiny bladder.
All right.
Okay. No. Let's see, we have Rosie, Grom, and Cormac alongside their friends Henry, Richard, and Jill driving together in Henry's. Do we say is it a stoner van or is it just a large car?
You know what? Fuck it. It is a stoner van.
All right, in Henry's yellow stoner van. Now again, this was a plans for 3-day weekend. Coldwater doesn't have a ton in the way of like standard amenities. They do have a resort, quote unquote, that sits on the shores of the lake. 24 rooms. It's more a motel than anything resembling a resort. But it's still technically the tourist season. The prices per room are exorbitant, especially for a group of your size, unless you cram together into one. So you're taking a simpler route, going to Camp Coldwater, pitching some tents, and using that as your base of operations to hang out for the weekend. Like I said, it is supposed to be the 3-day weekend, coincidentally starting on this Friday the 13th. Now, you left the city later than you wanted to. You stopped more than you probably should have, including one very memorable gas station at the edge of a hotel. Something like the Shelterwood Inn, if you remember the big blaring sign correctly. But as the sun, kind of starts its journey towards night, you crest the last sort of big part of the hill or mountain that you're traveling through here to look down upon the town of Coldwater itself. Now, like I said, quaint little town, basically just a little downtown area and a few burbs that kind of stretch outward from it. Again, it looks like it hasn't been touched since the 70s or 80s, and you would probably be right if you were to assume that, but the roads are windy, full of potholes. They're still slick with rain from the previous day, maybe even this morning. But the campground, Camp Coldwater, is just beyond the town itself. So you drive on through, you see the sights, see the cafe, the pizza shop, and so on and so forth, until you reach where the road diverges. You're traveling along a main state highway up until you get to this point, and you see the sign. It's an old wooden sign, saying Camp Coldwater. Has been painted in, 20, 30 years, so it's quite weathered as well. And unfortunately, it doesn't really pull off onto much of an established road. It's kind of dirt path that someone sprinkled rocks upon at some point in the past. I don't know what the condition of the shocks on this van were, but needless to say, it is a bumpy ride. And as you stretch down this part of unpaved road heading towards the campground, the sun kind of goes ever and ever further down. It is effectively twilight by the time you arrive. Now, the campground itself is all pretty straightforward. There's a camp office. That's the first thing you encounter as you're coming down the road. It's a little hut, effectively. There's a drop gate that kind of like, blocks off a portion of the road. And that's where we begin. The six of you crammed into this van as you pull up to this small office building. It's the standard park affair. As a sliding window, there is that drop gate, as I said. But as you pull up, the window remains closed, the drop gate down. What do you do?
You mentioned that this is like the end of the season. Does that mean that we're not expecting there to be like camp employees around?
That's a very good question. You had reservations. So anything beyond that is speculation as far as you're aware. The assumption is that there is somebody supposed to be here maintaining the campground and checking you in and so on.
Probably just using the restroom or something. We can let ourselves in. It's no big deal, right?
Yeah, me and Richard can hop out and move that gate. It's no big deal.
Yeah, you should do that.
I think, that's the intent. We are going to hop out of the van. I think it's borderline slapstick of the two dumbest people out of the six trying to move what should be a very simple gate to allow passage for the vehicle.
It's not particularly sophisticated. It does have a little motor that would, under normal circumstances, operate the gate. And so it gives you a little bit more force than you're kind of expecting from how flimsy it looks. But within short order, the two of you are able to kind of quickly push the gate up, followed by like a almost sickening crunch as it hits its peak. And you let go, and it seems to be staying upright as far as you're aware. But it clears the way.
Yeah. Cool.
I think rather than get back in, since we're on this short path to the parking lot, Richard and I just are gonna grab the back like firemen and just try to like ride the van up to the parking spot because we're just like so gassed to be out and about.
How's that work out for you?
There's a lot of slow stump like falling off, trying to jog to catch up. Again, we're just going to a parking lot, so I imagine the vehicle's not hitting like 30 or anything. It's just like, again, watching two idiots is just one of life's simple pleasures.
All right, so it doesn't take long to reach the parking lot from that little camp office there. It's a little short down a effectively unpaved path. But conveniently enough, as you reach the parking lot, you do see that is paved, or was paved at some point. In the fading light, you see the pavement there is grayed and cracked. Whatever lines were there, you can see like the faint like remains of parking lines that were spray painted at some point, but other than that, parking lot is empty. There's no other cars here. You seem to be the only ones checking in tonight. And maybe somebody will be there over the weekend, but this Friday isn't as popular as one would assume.
Sweet.
But it's easy enough to pull the van into one of the spots there and begin to unload. Now, you've seen the brochures. Probably looked up the website. Camp Coldwater's not much. It's has a main camping area, and that's sort of what your main focus is going to be. And these are effectively just open plots of land spread between the trees of this sort of forested region that you're in. You can expect there to be a little like fire ring and a little grill station at every one of these, and there are most likely like little sign pegs that kind of mark whose spot is where. But other than that, it seems pretty self-governing. There's no fences, in this part there's no real buildings or whatnot, but that's sort of set in the center. As part of your reservation, each of you who chose to bring a tent, whether you're getting your own plot or sharing one, you've been assigned a number, and they're all clustered in like the same little area right there. But outside of that, you know that there is supposed to be an outhouse. This is one of those all-in-one type of deals. It does have showers, conveniently enough, and the standard bathroom array there. But that is off on the oh shit, I didn't do cardinal directions on this. Oh, that'd be the northern end. I did put a compass on my map.
Hell yeah.
Nice. I love surprising myself. Okay, so there's the outhouse, there's a primary campground. There are a series of cabins that are for rent, but those are a little bit more pricey, and they're for more like the glamping experience. And you guys are good with tents. There is a main stonework hall, this big building that sits in roughly the center of the campground, and that's probably what you can see when you're sitting in this parking lot. As you disembark from your van, you kind of look up, and in the shadows you see that building there. And you also know that there are supposedly a boathouse, a dock for accessing the river, and a trailhead kind of deep in this portion of the property out here that folks can go and enjoy a nice walk along the edge of the lake there. But it is getting dark. You might have just enough time to get your tents up and your fire made before it gets completely dark. Other than that, you might be having to be operating with flashlights. But you've parked, you've got out of the car at the very least. What are you guys doing?
Grom has a video camera with which he's pestering everyone. Rather than help build a tent, carry luggage, doing anything of value, he's sort of doing the documentarian, like asking questions, putting the camera on people's faces, finding any excuse to not help, for the sake of archiving our experience this weekend.
Very nice. I think I'm running off to the bathrooms first thing. And then coming back and helping pitch a tent and all that.
All right, we will talk about the bathrooms because we might as well. But before we jump into the bathrooms, what's Cormac doing? You got out of the van.
Yeah, I think that I am helping Jill with way too much stuff. Like, she clearly not only has like the tripod and the ring light and all the rest of the stuff so that she can do her TikToks while we are out here, but believes that this is glamping and there's like a 10-person tent and like a little like plug into the car battery heater thing, and I'm just puffing as I get all of what we stuffed into there out for her, and she's playing on her phone.
It is worth noting, you hear Jill kind of curse and goes, God damn it, why is the service so bad out here? And it's like doing the lifting the phone thing and looking around. Before it takes like 5 minutes of her doing this while you're unloading all of the stuff, before you hear a resigned sigh and just record them now and release them later. It'll be fine. I'll stagger it. It'll be good. But over to those bathrooms.
Yeah.
This is over, again, that's the sort of the northern portion of the site. There are big trails that cut between the trees here, and you can see some of the signage that tells you where things are, so pretty easy to find that outhouse in short order. Just a quick summary. It's a freestanding wooden structure. There's a single entrance here. It's an old, kind of creaky wooden door. It does have a lock on that portion as well. But as you pull open the door, it does like the very loud creak on its hinges. But it's a light switch that does work conveniently enough. Inside, there are 3 shower stalls, and you see 4 bathroom stalls. And presumably, if you're going to partake in that portion of the outhouse, you open the door and are accosted with the smell and indicators that these are drop toilets, not really proper plumbing.
Well, what can you expect?
Fair enough.
I'm gonna use the I'm gonna use the bathroom.
An easy in and out.
Yeah, there we go.
Before returning back to the van, presumably.
Yep. Return straight back to the van to help out. I think I'll be focused on helping Henry the most, I guess.
Perfect. No. How's that tent setup going?
We all have our struggles, and I think the tent is one of them.
What did you spring for in terms of plots? How are you guys arrayed here?
I think, if Jill is coming with us, she's definitely using her influencer travel nurse money to spring for her. If it's a series of plots, she definitely has her own. Like, the whole situation happening did not spare any expenses to glamp out here.
Now, is Cormac, I was going to say biblically involved with Jill, but that's...
So, here's the thing. Here's the thing. No, and not that when they first met, he wasn't interested, but I think they went for, like, drinks a couple times, and he was just like, no. Nope, not getting burned like that again, not getting involved with that. Nice girl, fun to hang out with, but I'm passing on any attempt, on that.
So do you have your own plot here?
No, we still hang out.
All right, so you're partaking in this giant 10-person tent.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. What about the other 2 of you?
I think I've got like a fairly modest tent that I was able to get from my uncle and aunt, and it's a little bit, it was also probably bought in the 80s, so it matches the general town of Coldwater.
And Richard has our tent, and since he's my boss, I think he sprung for like a nicer one, but it's also because it's more involved, it's more difficult to put up, and neither of us read the instructions, so it's not going well. It doesn't look as intended.
Do you have the air mattresses? Did you spring for that too?
No, but we got those like fold up foam things.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Oh, very nice.
All right. So, after some time here, night has fallen. Upon the various degrees of success you've had with your respective tents, plots, and so on. Now, while you guys are setting up tents, Henry was getting the fire going. Like I said, every one of these plots has its own little like fire ring, and that is said grill station as well. And if you guys haven't been to like a public park, it's these little like freestanding poles with basically a box on it that you can put hot dogs and hamburgers on.
The most beautiful thing in the world, they are.
Americana.
So Henry was out, and it looks like he was getting some firewood, and maybe he brought a small like bundle of that in the van and has been getting that going. And let's say that this was in Jill's plot. Jill probably has the most like sitting amenities spread around that glamping tent, so it made the most sense to put the one central fire there for the night. So you guys left late enough where you probably got dinner on the road, This isn't really like a roast and weenies type of situation here, but it is your first night at the camp. And you're going to enjoy it, damn it. Now, the six of you sit around that fire. It's going pretty good. The air is chilly. You can feel the humidity of the coming rain, and tonight, tomorrow, it's hard to say. But the fire is nice. As you're sitting there staring at the burning timber and coals, what are you guys doing?
I think I'm asking around if anyone brought skewers, because I realized that I brought marshmallows, but I didn't bring anything to stick them on. I think just putting them on a stick is a little gross.
Builds character.
Yeah.
I'm definitely advocating for just grabbing some sticks because I want those marshmallows.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like based on the earlier agreed upon pretense, that we're all at least a little stoned here.
Yeah. Brought some brownies.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, melted marshmallow and brownie.
I was gonna say a brownie s'mores situation.
I was gonna say the same thing. That sounds epic. We have to end the stream right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that after Jill has sent me to check something that she bought and I opened it up, there were not skewers in there. So I'm fine going with someone to go grab some sticks if
Yeah, I'm getting up. I'm not waiting for anybody. I want to get this show on the road marshmallow style.
Right.
So
yeah, I think I'll tag along with you because I'm just like, it's dark out there. Best to team up.
So we did the classic great friends thing to do, which is leave all of our friends that don't know each other behind for like weird like small talk while we all go run an errand.
The best.
Yeah.
All right. So, three of you are on a quest. Find sticks, and not just any stick. You want the good ones. Straight as an arrow, long enough to stick into the flame without having to burn your hands.
Not too mildewy.
Yeah, you're not just going to find those anywhere. As you get up and leave the confines of the campfire, how do you go about your quest? Where do you go? What are you looking for?
Maybe kind of heading in the direction of the cabins. I feel like that would maybe be a little bit, more
That's
like
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And like looking from the map too, that's the opposite direction from the outhouse. So we're not trying to get any toilet sticks.
Yeah, we don't want a poop stick. That would be gross.
We're going south.
Well, here's the thing with the outhouse area too, is like if it's full, dudes, you're just pissing on the ground around it anyway. So like definitely piss eggs. Yeah.
And I bet some weird hippie girl's also peeing on the ground.
Listen, everybody pees.
Yeah. Everyone pees. We haven't confirmed if everyone poops yet. The studies are still out. But
Yep. As a nurse, I will confirm not everybody poops.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's for after the stream. We'll discuss that.
Go.
Yeah.
So heading towards the cabins.
Yeah.
So it is not long before the light of the campfire and the sounds of your friends leaves you behind. You're heading south along what I said is mostly established paths that kind of cut through this area. This portion of the region that you're in is very heavily forested, and this is obviously like a manicured campground, so it's not like you're dodging between trees with every step, but it's more clusters of little forested area and occasional random trees split by paths and open grass where people set their camps up or string a volleyball net up or so on and so forth. So it's easy enough to kind of wander your way towards the cabins. Yeah.
Do we have lights? I think we mentioned
we've got our
flashlights,
smartphones.
Right.
Yes. At the very least.
I'm using my smartphone to just kind of light the way. It's not like I'm gonna call with this anyways.
Yeah, I mean the we can just airplane mode it and save some battery. I did one inventory thing I meant to ask while we were getting set up. I have a WAG bag as an EMT. Could I have switched that out for like silk tape, which is just like the standard 1-inch like medical tape?
Sure.
Because I don't need to pee in a bag frequently.
But no, because it was mentioned. Let's talk mechanics. So Liminal Horror, like I said, it has that lineage of Cairn, which I believe pulled this from Knave originally, but Liminal Horror has a inventory system. Each player character has 10 slots to begin. And these sort of stay static. You're able to kind of modify it by bringing, you know, like backpacks and extra things to carry stuff in, but your core 10 slots every character has to begin with. Most items will take up a single slot. Some items can be combined together to like fill your pockets. So like pocket change, a phone, your wallet, that can all take one inventory slot. And then if you are carrying bulky items, and these are ones that generally require 2 hands to use or are, you know, particularly obtuse for some reason, those might take up 2 inventory slots. So we have just swapped out one of the starting items for the EMT to add in the silk tape because it makes more sense with how Ryan put his character together. So keep that in mind as we're playing along. Everybody has a fun little kit of stuff that they might be able to use over the course of play here.
Yep.
All right. Back to the adventure. Now, you're walking along. You have your smartphones out. You're pulling out the lights to light the way, and they're not the most powerful thing in the world, and it's almost like the darkness of the woods is sort of swallowing the light, so you can only see a few feet in front of you with those, but there are a few things you notice. It's quiet. It's very quiet out here. It's probably been a while since you've been out in the woods, or at least away from the cities that you call home. Outside of the crunching of leaves under your feet, you hear the faint noise of insects, probably still a couple crickets hanging out, you know, before the inevitable either die-off or hibernation of winter. And also, as you look up, in the gaps of the trees, you can see the sky, the night sky. Coldwater is pretty far away from major sources of light pollution. So between the gaps of the clouds as they are kind of rolling on by, you're seeing a very wonderful view of the stars. And it's peaceful. But that's not your goal. You're looking for sticks. Now you've made it to the cabins. These are a series of, they're wooden structures. They have, each of them has like a little small porch and glass windows. And it looks like they're big enough to have a couple of rooms on the inside. They're setting up on stilts and they have like a little wooden staircase that leads up to them as well. And they're evenly spaced out. There's probably about 8 of them at this point, but they are conveniently surrounded by, you know, a manicured space, but have a bunch of nice trees that are kind of dispersed in and around them. You might be able to scrounge up some good old-fashioned sticks somewhere around the outside.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you could break in and steal some skewers, but that's up to you.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, we're looking for the thing that will get us in the least trouble, probably. I mean, we haven't seen any camp folk yet, but you know, best just search for those nice sticks. Maybe towards the edge of like the manicured area, you know, shit gets pushed to the side and all that.
Okay. The 3 of you looking for sticks. Who wants to take the lead on this stick investigation?
I would.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. So Grom. We are going to use a slightly varied mechanic. This is something that will be presented as an optional thing you can add to your games within the deluxe edition in the future. But it's pretty straightforward because we stole it from something else. It's called the Die Fate. So instead of rolling for an ability, the Die of Fate is used when you're testing dumb luck for the most part. You roll a single d6. In this case, low numbers good, bad numbers high. And this is just how lucky your character is in this exact moment. So whenever you're ready, give me a d6 roll and tell me the result.
I got a 6.
A 6. You find nothing.
That tracks.
The three of you are looking, searching around, and there are sticks. Don't get me wrong, you're in the woods, but they're mildewy, they're bent, curved. Some of them are still living, so they're kind of like limp instead of, the hardened, deaded brethren, I guess.
He wants a limp stick,
Yeah. And it's kind of becoming frustrating because who would have thought you couldn't find sticks in a forest, But that's when you hear it. As the three of you are shifting around, there is a resounding snap that echoes from nearby.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like kind of puff up a little bit, expecting it to be like a deer or something, then wanting to just scare it off, just trying to make myself look big.
What do you do?
Grom just freezes because he thinks he stepped on the one good stick in this whole area.
Yeah. What about Cormac?
Yeah, just swivels my flashlight around on my phone, trying to find the source of it.
Yeah. Puffed up, rosy, frozen Greg, swiveling spotlight Cormac. It takes a minute, but eventually you catch the sight of reflection in the eyes of some creature that stands behind the cabins, just a little ways away from you. There's another and you see the eyes shift ever so slightly.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to puff up, look big.
Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Yes, I need all three of you to make a control save.
Aye, Captain.
Now, this is, again, control is one of the 3 core stats. In this instance, we're testing your ability to act cool under pressure. Is probably the best way to think about it. You're rolling a d20 looking equal or under your current control score.
Oh, in that case, I fail.
What'd you get?
I got a 12. My control's 11.
Lovely. You take 1 stress.
I also failed. I rolled a 16 and my control is 12.
Okay. You also take a point of stress.
I also rolled a 16 and my control is 12, so.
You also take a point of stress. All right. So as you're sitting there, tensed up.
Sorry, before you continue where on the character sheet or the character keeper do we track stress?
I was just going to get to that.
Great.
So you tense up, you feel this thing in the forest behind you, watching you, and each of you is unable to maintain your cool under pressure. So you take your point of stress. Now, stress in Limited Horror works basically the same as standard physical damage. Stress applies directly to your hit protection. So if you have, say, 5, 4, or 1, you now have 4, 0, or 3 hit protection. But please keep track of your prior score, because hit protection comes back quickly. As long as you take a moment to rest in a safe place, you can catch your breath and recenter yourself. Your hit protection heals. So I will note that you need to tell me you were doing that in order for that to occur. But you can really do it whenever you want. Just let me know when you want to heal. As long as you're safe, you can do it. But you tense up. You see those eyes. You feel your nerves start to race and the anxiety spike. What do the 3 of you do?
I would just sort of offer my flashlight in addition to Cormax to try to like better figure out what is going on here.
Yeah, I think I'll turn my flashlight as well.
Okay. So the three of you just spotlight up. No movement. And the sound continues. The
We still
eyes
see the
get
eyes?
closer. And then you see a long snout protrude from the leaves of the trees. A long set of horns. I put 5 peaks. Brown fur. And the body of a deer as it walks out from behind the tree.
All right, hey guys, it's a deer. We've all seen deer. If you lived on the East Coast, you hit at least 2. It's fine. We're good.
And it walks between 2 of the cabins, still staring at the 3 of you.
Oof. Surprisingly brave deer.
I mean, people probably feed it all the time.
Wait, you're not supposed to do that. You'll get in trouble if you do.
People are stupid.
You're right.
It stops in its tracks, ever so calm, still looking at you.
I would like to approach it because I would be one of those stupid people to feed it.
Okay. Do you have any food?
I think I have some pot brownies still.
I think we have some pocket marshmallows.
There you go.
You're gonna feed
probably
your
better.
pot brownies.
Yeah.
No, those are ours. Those are ours. We've got a bunch of
Good idea.
yeah.
All right.
Here,
So
I'm gonna pull a marshmallow out of my pocket and hand it to you.
Cool.
you take the marshmallow, and you get closer, and the deer is still standing there, staring at you as you approach and get closer. And you're so close that you could reach out and touch it if you so desired.
I think I just want to offer it open hand marshmallow.
Doesn't seem particularly receptive to your marshmallows, unfortunately. But it's sitting there. Its eyes are, well, because it's probably, prey. Kind of side of the head. Is that how it works?
Side-eyeing us.
Yeah. But it is staring at you. You see the eye sort of tracking you.
Then I just eat the marshmallow.
Okay.
Just like snooze you lose, and then I just sort of start walking back to the duo here.
Okay.
Yeah.
The deer's still standing there. You've watched Grom not feed it, but not scare it away either. Cormac, Rosie, do you do anything? Do you just let Cormac return? Or not Cormac, Grom.
I think at this point we should probably shoo it. Just be like, "Hey, get out of here! Just shoo."
Yeah.
You go up, you try and make a little noise, you try and shoo it. It stands there, transfixed, staring, until it moves, and it's sudden and it's quick. In a flash of movement, the deer turns and rams its head into the nearest cabin.
What the fuck?
Oh, this thing's rapid.
Now you watch as it jolts forward and jams and bang and bang and bang as it continues to bash forward into that cabin. The noise kind of echoes out over all of the woods here. I need all of you to take another stress.
So, I only had 1 HP on hit protection.
Yes. Okay. So we get to talk mechanics again.
Yes, we
you
do.
roll the worst hit points you could possibly, or hit protection. You possibly could with 1.
Hell yeah.
So now that you have depleted yours with the first point of stress, the second applies directly to your control score. Again, if you are decreasing your control, please mark the original score so you remember. There are ways to heal your abilities points, but it is pretty hard to do so compared to hit protection. So your control has decreased to 10 from 11 now. And what I need you to do is make a control save again with that new score.
Alrighty. That is a success.
A success. Okay.
Woo!
So you're able to, you see as it is bashing its head and it's just flicking, gore and viscera out. You're able to kind of dodge out of the way as it splatters around the ground around you. What do the others do? What are you guys doing as you watch the scene ahead of you?
I'm gonna start filming it. Just because this is so fucking weird, man.
So now you start filming it.
Yeah.
In terms of mechanics, in the new we added this to the Investigators edition, and it's coming in the deluxe hardcover of Liminal Horror. We added this new mechanic that deals with what's it called? Video cameras and like cell phones and stuff with which you can view horrors. In a word, it provides stability, and stability is sort of like mental armor. But in this case, you've already taken the stress damage, and then you pulled out your camera. So we'll talk about the mechanic as it comes up, but that is something to keep in mind. Okay, so you flip out your camera, you're filming it, and this deer is just bashing itself into the side of the cabin.
This thing is probably rabid. We just need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I've definitely been backpedaling, like, absolutely. Just like, what the fuck? Like, over and over again under my breath, just kind of like taking a step back. And if I see Grom pull out his camera, I'm just going to clap him on the shoulder and be like, really?
Yeah, fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
Shouldn't we, like, report this to, like, someone or something? Like, you report rabies to... like the park service or something, right?
You know what? That is probably the responsible thing to do. We don't want anyone to get bit. I am on vacation. I don't want to have to do my job. So where would that even be? I mean, there's no one here at the cabins. Did we pass like a station, or was there like a...
We could see the main hall when we got here.
Yeah, but that seemed more of like a recreational area rather than a set. If there was going to be somebody directly at the park, they probably would have been at that front office you passed on the way in.
Which there was nobody.
Yeah, so it seems like a tomorrow problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's probably good that you did film it a little bit so they can show people.
Yeah.
Is the rabies vaccine like the tetanus shot? You get it every year.
No, it's just a series after an initial bite. But if you don't get it quickly, like, you will die. Like, you will like 100% die. Like 99.9% die. So, like, let's not get bit by this like at all. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we should. Besides, there aren't any good sticks. I think I'm going to keep my eyes on it, though, as we...
You back away, and the deer continues to wrap its head forward. You hear the noise continuing even after you're out of eye shot. But as you make your way back to the fire to return to your compatriots, without the glorious sticks you sought out for, I think this is a good time to take a quick 5-minute break. If we have that option.
Yeah.
We do.
We got the screen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
All right,
we have the screen. I fixed it. We're good.
Yeah, all right. So let's do that.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
See you later.
And we are back. Part 2 of Camp Coldwater, Liminal Horror Mystery. Now, you've arrived at this campground. You've set up your camp. And you went off looking for sticks with which to roast marshmallows on, having encountered a strange occurrence. A potentially rabid deer next to some cabins. Now, You're on your way back to your campground, stickless, maybe a little more tense than you had left it. But soon you hear the voices of your compatriots, and you see the light of the campfire in short order. It's a little dimmer than you left it. And as you round the last corner and see the silhouetted faces against the fire, you notice something's off. There's only 2 of them.
Okay. I think I'll loudly announce myself and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
You hear the voices of Henry and Jill respond in kind. You're like, "Hey, and how did it go?" And so on and so forth.
Yeah. It's Richard.
Fucking weird.
Yeah, we think there's like a rapid deer or whatever, and it's we'll report it to any park officials or whatever if we see them, but like not much we can do now besides give it space. Do deer bite when they're rabid?
Yo, Ricky's got to see this tape.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure deer bite all the time.
Ugh.
But where is Richard? Rick? What? Who's your friend? What's his name?
It's Richard. He's my boss, but it's cool. I call him.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah,
he's cool.
I've chilled with him a few times. He's cool.
And you see Jill is sitting there, and well, she's been responding to you. She's definitely like staring down at her phone as well, and you can see the videos being recorded as she's like, continuing to look up and down for it. She goes, looks up at you guys and goes, we're running out of firewood. Henry had only grabbed enough for the initial batch here, and you guys were gone for a few minutes, and the fire kind of died. So Richard went off looking for some more.
I suspect he'd be good at that. He seems like the kind of man who knows his way around a bonfire.
Yeah, cool. So I just want to like force myself between Henry and Jill with my like camera out, be like, check this. You guys got to see what this thing.
God, and Henry gives you this like repulsed face, but continues to watch, while Jill does the gross type of deal, and like pushes you and gets up and walks away. It's like, why would you even show me that?
Yeah, she's definitely didn't grow up in like the Vases of Death internet era.
All right, so you no longer have suitable sticks. You can use non-suitable sticks if you really want.
Yeah, we'll just find the shittiest sticks we can. We just want the fucking melted marshmallow on top of the weed brownie.
In short order, the fires burn down to like that peak marshmallow territory.
Oh,
it's mostly
magnifique.
coals. You're able to get a nice toast on there without burning the marshmallow, and accurately apply the gooey consistency upon your brownies. A little bit of bark is scraping off, given the shitty branches, unfortunately, but
builds character. Yeah.
And the time it takes you to get the sticks, to get the marshmallows roasted, is another 5-10 minutes. Richard still hasn't returned with the firewood. Coals are burning not dangerously low, but they're getting there. You don't have a whole lot of light coming out of that fire anymore. Mostly just heat.
I've got a question. Would partaking in a delicious, marshmallow brownie count as, taking a breather in regards to hit protection?
You guys are sitting around a campfire and in a safe place enjoying yourself. You are more than welcome to restore your hit protection.
Alrighty, I'm going back to maximum. 1 out of 1, baby.
I will note again that does not restore ability score loss. That happens under extenuating circumstances, so keep that in mind.
Will do.
Does it go back to full or just up 1 point since I've lost more than 1 HP? Okay.
That's good to know. I assumed it was just 1 regardless, but yeah.
No, like I said, hit protection comes back quick. It is the stat damage you got to worry about.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
All right, so you have your brownie marshmallow dish treat.
Confectionery innovation.
Confectionery innovation.
Yeah.
Will you guys eat it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're eating the marshmallow pop brownies.
I was
Like,
thinking about it on the break.
Yeah,
Real
I
life.
same. It's such a beautiful concept.
I feel like the brownies is half the reason we came out of the woods to begin with. So
Yeah.
All right. So you eat your confectionery innovation. It's good, as expected.
Yeah.
And you feel the effects start to come over you. You've spent enough time that starts to hit. And Richard still hasn't returned.
Yeah, damn. We should definitely like look for Richard at this, right? Like, I mean, there's the rabid deer. What if he got like bit by something?
He's gonna want one of these brownie things.
That's true. He would.
Which
Yeah, well, no,
which direction did he even go in? If Henry and Jill are there.
Yeah.
Henry, Jill kind of look at each other. And Henry goes, "Well, you guys went that way. I think you just went over there." And he points, vaguely north.
Oh, like towards the outhouses. Yeah. He might be fighting a war in there. No,
Sorry, I froze for a sec.
Yeah, you did.
And Jill stands up and goes, "You know what? I need to go freshen up before bed. I'll go check the outhouse."
Yeah. Make sure you got a flashlight with you and all that.
Yep. And she goes and pulls out like a big ass mag light.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you hear the click, and she kind of like crunches off, heading out towards the outhouse. Henry is kind of like sitting back there, kind of leaning back on the log or rock that he was sitting on, and goes, something tells me he went for a swim. I'm gonna check the dock real quick. If you want to wait here or whatever, I will.
Yeah.
And he shakes his head, pulls out his phone, and hits the button and walks off towards the lake. What do the three of you do?
It's just the three of us. Swim does sound nice, actually. That cold water.
I do not get in water I cannot see the bottom of. That's a hard pass for me. I'll go, but I'm not getting in. Absolutely not.
There aren't like crocodiles or anything, so it's probably fine.
Probably fine. Listen, I've seen a lot of probably fine at work. I'm definitely fine.
Definitely fine is a type of probably fine, right?
How the campgrounds in general, does it seem like the kind of campground that's like well traveled and people just like kind of walking off isn't like a big deal, or is it like huge and like someone just like deciding to go to the dock is like a trek, or is it just kind of like everything's kind of around?
It's a fair size, a couple dozen acres total, maybe a lot of this being kind of woods and whatnot, but the campground itself is one of like the tourism draws for Coldwater. So it is traveled enough where it's not just like random things in the middle of nowhere. This was under normal circumstances, there'd probably be a fair few people here. It's just you came at the end of the tourism season.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's big enough to support, let's say, 150 guests.
Okay, yeah. I think I might try tagging along with Jill to the restroom, because I think it's been long enough. Rosie's got the micro bladder or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just you two have fun.
I think
Right.
I'm just laying on a log. Like, it's peak marshmallow time. The brownies are hitting. I'm just like enjoying this moment.
Okay. So, Grom, you're on the log. Rosie, you're heading after Jill towards the bathroom. Cormac, what are you doing?
I'll hang out in one of Jill's luxury camp chairs, like feet up, probably like on the log near Grom, like we're like relaxing near each other.
Okay. So the two of you were chilling there. Rosie, you are getting up and heading after Jill. It's been a couple of minutes, so she's got a little bit of a head start on you. But you've been to the bathroom already. You know exactly where it is. And again, it is a few minutes walk from here, given the size of the campground. And so, as you get up and move forward, the first thing you notice is there's no sign of her. You know, there you don't see the light of that mag light, and presumably she made it to the bathroom already at this point. But a minute or so after you exit the camp and head that direction, you hear a scream. A loud,
High-pitched or low-pitched?
high-pitched yell.
Oh shit. I think I'll yell, Jill! You know, just trying to.
You yell out Jill, and there's no return. There's no call back. The wood has returned to silence once more outside of the occasional bug noise.
Is where we are within ear, like, would we hear Rosie yelling? Or is it that
You would
further
hear
away?
Rosie. You probably wouldn't have heard the scream given the distance here.
Cool.
But Jill's close enough, not Jill. Rosie is close enough where you definitely would have heard, her yelling Jill.
Mm-hmm.
No worries. No, fair enough.
Cormac's gone down this road before.
She's fine. It's whatever.
Probably saw a slug, or something.
All right, so Grom, Cormac, you're sitting there. You've heard Rosie yelling for Jill. You're just chilling.
Yeah, maybe she was just like, Jill, it's so cool to see you.
Yeah, all right.
I think I'm gonna be in a break into like a jog to like try and get to the restrooms quicker.
Okay. So you break into the jog. Your phone light kind of wagging in the path ahead. You get closer to the bathroom, and you see it there. You know that wooden structure standing just ahead. The lights are off. Doesn't appear there's anybody's in there, at least initially from the outside. What do you do?
I'm just gonna I think I'm gonna be like not quite a full-on yell, but I'm gonna be like, Jill, Richard, Jill, Richard,
As you call out into the woods and the trees, you get no response. But as you're sort of pacing around, yelling out, your foot does contact something hard.
I'm gonna look down.
You look down and you see the mag light. Large, expensive flashlight that has been dropped to the ground.
I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna turn it. Though actually, no, does it appear to be damaged in any way?
As you pick it up, you can click the button. You see that the lens is shattered, and the light does not appear to work anymore.
Oh shit. Shit. I guess I'm gonna look around and see if I can see any like footprints or something. Just anything like that.
You look down, and this is a well-trodden area. Like I said, this is a fairly groomed campground. There are footprints everywhere,
Okay. Yeah.
but you do see a fresh-looking pair of tracks. You can tell these are Jill's because of the way that the boot is, kind of compressed into the ground. It is a... What the hell? Somebody's car alarm's going off. Sorry. Is that coming through on your end?
Thankfully not.
I got a gate on all you guys.
Gotcha. All right. So you can tell by the way that the boot print is in the ground that this is an expensive, impractical boot, more for show than practicality.
Yeah.
But you quickly trace the footsteps back. You see a second set of footsteps freshly disturbed the dirt. It looks like a small scuffle before the light had been dropped to the ground. And now it's sort of mixed with your own footprints that kind of obscured the scene, making it a little more confusing to interpret.
I think I'm gonna try and run back to the campground and be like, hey, and explain kind of the scene. I heard Jill yell, I saw a footsteps, there was a pair of footprints I didn't recognize really, and the mag light was on the ground, and I don't know where she is. Also, I don't think that Richard was taking a number 2 ski. He must have been at the docks.
Well, I think Henry's went to the docks. So why don't we just go? I mean, we have to go look. We have to go look for her.
Yeah, but where would she be?
I mean, let's start from where the mag light was and just go look around. I mean, we can't just sit here. Let's go.
Yeah.
Grom,
Yeah. What?
buddy, Grom. Jill is missing, so let's go look for her.
Yeah, there was a struggle.
Where's Rick?
I don't. He wasn't taking a 2-ski. That's for certain. He wasn't in the bathroom. We think he might be at the docks. I think maybe we should just try heading, kind of towards the lake from the from the outhouses, so we could.
Yeah.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should have had that second brownie, Grom. I think maybe one to start would have been fine, but that second one looks like it's kind of kicking in hard, bud.
I'm holding one, what? You had 2?
Well, let's.
I'm right behind you. Let's go.
All right.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Alrighty.
So you're heading out towards the outhouse? Is that the plan?
Yeah, towards the outhouse, and then kind of maybe swooping around, heading eastward towards the lake, kind of where the trails and the docks are, is kind of thing.
Okay, cool. So, within short order, the three of you return to the outhouse. You see again that spot that Rosie pointed out. The light was dropped, and it looks like there was some scuffled footsteps. It's a little hard to tell. Again, you see the outhouse with that wooden structure. The lights are off. And still no sign of Jill beyond that. What do you do?
Wait, maybe here, I'll go check, and I'm gonna check in the women's restroom or whatever to see if she's in there.
Yeah, and I'll check the. Is it one of the stone one door's guys, one door's girl, but the doors open kind of situations, at a park, or is it
a little more
a
basic than that? It's basically one building. There's one door and a shared shower and stall system type of deal.
Gotcha.
But it's primarily wood at this point, but it's a little nicened up outside of that. It's not just slats sitting there. It's an outhouse, more like a upscale outhouse.
Gotcha.
That was built 30 years ago.
30 years of shitting.
Yeah. Down to the drop toilets. No. You could take a peek around. You open the door. It's that kind of echoes as you open the door. You flick the lights on. Quick peek. Jill doesn't seem to be in here either.
Well, at least it's not her corpse.
You know
Yeah.
what? Silver lining, right?
Yeah.
Does the maglite still work?
No, it doesn't. It was the lens all fucked up. Like,
It's still a heavy flashlight, but the
I was
light.
gonna say, is it like a weapon now? Like,
eh,
If you wanted to hit something with it, it would probably hurt.
I think I will just keep it regardless because it is expensive.
Okay. Feel free to add broken maglite to your inventory sheet.
Alrighty, investigators.
does Grom, does that thing? I mean, it doesn't have like night vision, or like, is there like a low, like, there's not. How fancy is that camera?
It can do slow-mo.
That's pretty sick.
Great, that's great. Yeah, I mean, that might be helpful for sure.
Yeah, if anyone does anything sick, I'll just do it in slow-mo.
Did you do the deer in slow mo, or is that just like regular?
I did, but not on purpose.
Well,
So you
wait,
just do,
we
like-
need to focus. We need to focus, right?
Oh fuck, Jill.
Jill. Yeah.
Are we heading towards the dock? We know Henry went that way. We still don't know where Richard is, and Jill is gone. So like, what?
Yeah,
Docks?
The docks. Like, just head straight, kind of. Well, we'll pass by the trails, and then we'll get to the dock, kind of.
No. Leading the bathroom again. As you open the door,
Oh,
heading out, following along, sort of. It's it's not a formal path, but it has been worn into the ground with people walking down this route. You're able to kind of quickly go along. It's basically the northern edge of this campground here, heading towards, like you said, the trails, where the trailhead is, and by extension, where the lake itself is. As you're stomping along, you hear another noise. A rustle, a crack in the trees. Sounds a little further off than last time.
it might be the rabid deer.
And then a voice. You hear Jill. Oh no, help me. Help me.
Jill, where are you?
You hear more shifting of the trees. Again, it's a snap. Ever a little further off this time. And then nothing.
I'm gonna run in that direction with my phone flashlight out. It's dark now, right? Like, we are dark. It is darkness.
Yeah, and so this would
Yeah.
be effectively to the northern edge. So you guys are heading east towards the river. And so there's a thick patch of woods to your left. It's somewhere in there that you heard those noises.
Yeah, I'll jog a couple of steps and look back and be like, let's go.
Oh, okay. Grom, I'm gonna just grab you by the shoulder and.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. So, Quarterback, you're leading the charge into these woods. You're just running with abandon into the middle.
Well, I'm doing like run a couple steps, look back, make sure the people are with me, like dog on too long a leash kind of situation. Like, I am a cautious person. I want people with me, but I want to like be like hurrying them up as I'm like going, you know, like,
Okay.
let's come on, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna be trying to keep pace as best I can. Rosie's pretty short, so she doesn't have that leg span, you know.
Sure. Now, Cormac, since you're running ahead, it's dark in here. You only have your smartphone, if that, as you're running. It is thick, dense woods. This is, it's not old growth forest. Probably at least 100+ year forest, though. So gnarled roots, big trees, all sorts of ferns and stuff that kind of coat the ground, and they're slick and they're wet with the rain that came the other day. I need you to make a dexterity save for me.
Cool, good times.
You are rolling d20, looking for equal to or under your current dexterity stat.
I rolled an 18.
18. That
Yeah,
is
it's a
a
hard
failure.
fail. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you're looking back to see your compatriots, to see if they're kept up with you, you feel your foot hit that slick root, and
Oh.
you tumble. As you hit the ground, you're going to take 1 hit protection, 1 HP worth of damage. It's not bad. You scraped your knee or banged your elbow or something like that, but you land with a
Fuck.
thud on the ground. But as
Cormac.
yeah. You're a little bit ahead. So Rosie and Grom, you see Cormac running, and then just all of a sudden they're gone.
It's the flashlight, and then it's just dark.
Oh, something got him. Something got him.
Hey, what do you two do in the moment after Cormac disappears?
I'm gonna scream.
You scream, okay.
Yeah, just. 'Cause I'm shaking.
I think I'm just gonna start laughing because I've seen people eat shit plenty of times. I know that's all that just happened right here, so I'm gonna kind of.
So Cormac, you lay on the ground, hearing both scream and laugh from your friends. But you're sitting there on the wet, damp ground. Your clothes are now far more saturated than you would like. And as you kind of push yourself to get up, your eye catches a curious sight. It's a little mushroom ahead of you. But it's dark. The only reason you see it here is because this one solid little mushroom peeking out of the ground is glowing ever so slightly. Just a bioluminescent, almost blue. It's almost as if, you know, like the glow in the dark, like t-shirts or like little toys that you can buy. When it's starting to run out of juice, it's just that faint little glow that you can see in pitch black. Sort of like that, but a nice little cute mushroom about a foot from where your head is as you fell to the ground.
I, in my mind, as I'm like dashing after this, my friend who I brought here, who is yelling for help, I take note of it, and then immediately do not care at all. And I just try to like scramble up and run, like, or at least get back to my feet and like, you know, look for where my friends are.
Yeah. So by the time you
Oh,
stand
you're
up,
good. You're good.
Yeah. It's by the time you stand up that Rosie and Grom are able to kind of make it over to you and close the distance. Excuse me. So you guys are 50, 60 yards into the woods at this point. There's no sign of Jill. You only hear yourselves. Cormac is wet, covered in nature's mulch at this point. What do you guys do?
I think I'm gonna. Oh, no, you first.
Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say I think Cormac's kind of leading the charge here, so whatever going on with your friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another yell. Jill! Jill!
Your voice echoes into the trees, quickly dying among the foliage, but otherwise, no response.
I'm gonna take it slightly slower now, probably like nursing a little bit of like the wind knocked out of me or a bum knee or something at this point, but I still want to just kind of just still be like kind of marching forward, maybe not dashing forward this time, but still at least trying to like make progress through the woods. Do I still have my phone flashlight? Was I able to like pick it up and keep going?
Yeah, you can find your phone. The light would have been on. It would have been pretty easy to grab.
Yeah, it's not an iPhone. It didn't break. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you push forward into the woods, what's your goal? What are you looking for here? It's just woods. I know you're looking for chill, but I mean specifics here.
Maybe like broken branches or like bits of fern that are kind of upturned and like.
It's hard to tell. You know, this is not manicured woods. Like I said, this is, if you know the history of the region, Coldwater was a logging town at one point, and 150 years ago, they clear cut basically everything here and then just let it sit. You know, they replanted the trees or let nature take its course again. So the woods themselves are just full of the detritus of 100-year-old logging operations. A lot of rotted wood kind of everywhere, but the trees themselves haven't really been touched in that long. So they grow too close together. Some of the root structures are weak, so a lot of them fall. It's not a particularly healthy forest, but it is dense. And it is always a mess. So you're searching around and nothing's really standing out. Till you hear another yell. This one more masculine in nature. Maybe it was Henry's. It's hard to tell at this distance. It's quite a ways off, but back in that other direction at least.
Oh fuck.
So is it the direction we're going in, or did we go in the wrong direction? Like, did both voices feel like they're coming from the same area or different areas?
You were heading effectively away from the camp. You're like 200 yards into the woods north of the campgrounds. Eventually you could probably find the path if you just stumble around far enough, the little trailheads that kind of go all over the place. But this sounds like it came back closer to the lake, echoing from that direction. So
Shit.
Effectively behind you.
And we heard Jill from in front of us. Fuck. Well.
I mean, I gotta find Rick. and you gotta find Hank.
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, I need to find Jill. So apparently if we go in far enough, we'll probably hear Rick scream too. So...
But you got this under control, Cormac.
I mean, absolutely not. But I see where you're going. Yeah.
I don't want to go it alone, though. I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, Henry's a big boy. He can take care of himself. I think Jill is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, Cormac, you and I, we can find Jill, and we can find Henry. Grom, I think you can handle Rick, right?
Henry's probably with Rick. They're probably just swimming it up, having a blast over there. That's what it sounds like to me. But sounds like where I want to be, frankly. Jill's probably fine. She's probably doing this for her channel.
No, she wouldn't do this for clout.
I just saw the Blair Witch Project. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Is it a movie?
Yeah.
I think she's doing one.
Here's the thing. I'm still going to keep looking for her, but there's a definite possibility that you're right. She would absolutely do this for clout.
She would do this for clout.
100%.
Okay, well,
so that actually reassures Cormac. Like, actually take like a deep breath for the first time in like a couple minutes. Like, maybe like that initial wave from the brownies kind of wearing off a little bit. I take a deep breath and I'm like, you know what? You're probably right, Grom. She's probably fine. I'm gonna keep looking for her, but if you need to try to go find Rick, I think me and Rosie, we got this.
Yeah,
cool. I think I'm gonna split off and head lakeward.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
We love splitting the groove.
Yeah. Why don't we try to head back to the camp and like less like an hour-ish tops. Like, if we don't find anybody, we'll at least meet back up together. Does that sound all right?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's probably because the best, because like when you get lost in the woods, the best thing to do is stay still, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna set an alarm on my phone actually for an hour. Because I don't remember anything about post-it notes and phone alarms.
I'm going to do that too. But then, like, we see Graham just setting an alarm for 1.
1 a.m.
instead of the timer.
Yeah.
All right. So
Oh,
let's start with Grom. It's not hard to make your way back to the campground proper. Pushing back the 100 or so yards through the trees. You know, you emerge from the forest again to the familiar site. You said you want to head towards the lake.
Yeah.
You follow the path down. It it heads down, slopes downhill, have a little bit towards the lake shore. Now, there's no beach here. Not at this portion of it. There might be a fake, somebody dumps some quartz sand over near Coldwater itself, but this is it's a lake, it's not even the ocean. So it's a pretty natural looking shoreline for the most part, as you kind of like walk along the edge of it there. But in the distance, you see a dock. It's been kind of pushed out into the water, presumably for, boat access and whatnot. And just beyond that, on the shore, but perched next to the water, looks to be, it's a boathouse. Effectively, it's a place where folks would store the supplies to go on the boat. If somebody wants to rent something, they can take it out here and so on and so forth. As you're looking around here, it is dark. There's just enough light where it's not like pitch black, but other than that, you see the vague shape of that dock in the boathouse, and that's it. There's no movement that you can detect.
I'm gonna shout out, dude.
You shout for the dudes, and the dudes do not reply.
I'm gonna head over to the boathouse. I'm not trying to get wet if nobody else is in there.
Yeah. It's easy enough to get over there. It's just a short walk down the shoreline. And the dock is to your left. You see the boathouse directly ahead of you. Is there anything specific you're doing?
I'm just walking over there to see if the guys are like in the boathouse, and maybe that's why they can't hear me.
As you get to the boathouse, you notice that there is it's a double door on the front of it. This is almost like a barn, but maybe a little smaller. You can see that in the back end of it, there is looks like a ramp that heads down into the water for deploying boats. And there's another door on the back end there as well that somebody could open up, to let the boats out. Both of these doors have heavy padlocks on them to kind of lock them up. Presumably you need a key or something to enter there. But the boathouse itself is locked. But as you presumably tug on the lock of the front door, the light of your phone catches something. See just a little spatter of red on the wood next to the door.
I just assume it's from that deer. It was spraying stuff all over the place earlier, so stands to reason it was trying to get in here and just left some junk.
Sir? But the door's locked.
Yeah. Damn. Actually, I have bolt cutters.
Have them already shit, okay.
I do have bolt cutters because I'm a skater, and if there's a fenced off thing I need to get in, I got it. I'm gonna try to
shred is paramount,
Yes.
Hell yeah. All right. So easy enough. You want to clip through that lock.
Cool. And then just creak it open and be like, where are my dudes at?
Creak the door open. And the air on the inside is stilted, and you catch a whiff of some probably chemical cleaner that's half faded at this point. You see 6 small rowboats kind of neatly lined up in racks that kind of hold them up on the wall. And then there's that back door as well that would let out. Presumably you can launch said rowboat out the back, but no dudes.
In that case, I just kind of turn around. I'm going to take a look at the map real quick. I guess I don't know where they are. Me and Grom are pretty clueless. So I look at my alarm and see, if it's time to meet up with the trio again. Because I'm by myself and I don't really have good ideas. I usually kind of need somebody to feed me that. So
you're not an idea guy.
Yeah.
I'm not an idea guy. I'm a doer.
On that note, we will flip back to Cormac and Rosie. We leave you as Grom is sort of stomping off back, to eventually go to the shed there. But as the sound of Grom's footsteps fade away, what are you guys doing? You're stuck in the middle of those woods. You're not seeing any signs that are immediately obvious. There's probably a game trail that runs through here you can kind of take a peek at. Plenty of wood and damp trees. There was that small mushroom you found a little while ago. I'd say it's a little noisier here in terms of like insects and whatnot because you're kind of deeper into the forest. Probably have mosquitoes out still. What do you do?
I think Rosie would keep up with the Jill yelling, trying to just see if you're not exactly trying to make myself unknown.
Yeah. And I think we're both just trudging like at this point.
Maybe not running.
Yeah.
It's not too long of calling out names with no response. Excuse me. But again, noise catches your ear. And the shifting of the trees, cracking of small branches somewhere in the distance.
I mean, I look at Rosie and I just kind of head that way. Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta. If that's Jill, we gotta find her. We gotta make sure she's safe.
Yeah.
The closer you get, noise continues. Doesn't seem to take mind of the noise that you make either. And then you see just the faintest of glow in the distance.
Okay. Is it like a general glow, or would it be like the glow of reflective eyes?
Seems a little more general. It's almost like somebody has a flashlight that's really far off, and you're not seeing the beam itself, but you're kind of seeing like the remnants scattered on some trees in the distance, kind of deal.
Yeah. I think I'll point that out and be like, "Hey, that's probably her."
Yeah, I mean, it's the only light I think we're gonna see. It ain't a fairy circle, or I hope it's not Fae. Wrong genre. So I just start trudging that direction. At this point, I'm actually kind of getting upset. Like, I do feel like Grom's idea is just sticking in my head. Like, she's probably like has a camera set up on a tree and she keeps like running past it a couple times and like trying to get the right shot and stuff. And that's what I'm picturing in my head. And I'm just annoyed right now.
I think Rosie ate the weed brownies that make you afraid.
So the sound continues. Now, the light doesn't materialize into a person. That becomes obvious pretty quickly. But it does compel you forward. And it shifts and moves. And within a handful of paces from where you first noticed it, it fully emerges from the tree or bush that it was kind of like, not stuck within, but contained within. You see another deer.
And the deer's glowing?
Not the deer itself, per se. But as the deer walks out from the trees and shifts and stares at you, you see its skin and fur are sprouting a series of small mushrooms, each of them bioluminescent in nature, casting a pale blue light upon the deer and enough to see it in the pitch black of the woods here. And it stares, it stops moving. You can tell its eyes are swiveled on you. I need both of you to take one stress.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
that is... Oh. Sorry, I went to edit the stress, and by doing 1/1 on the keeper, it has made this so it thinks it's January 1st, 2023. That is not the case.
If you do an apostrophe before anything, it makes code not work. So you can do apostrophe 1/1 and it'll stay 1/1.
Ah,
Ryan's
there we
also
go.
knows the
Well,
computer, always knows computer stuff.
that explains why when I tried... That explains something I did a few weeks ago. By accident, I guess. But that's unrelated to this stream. Alrighty.
All right. So you see this creature emerge from the woods and it stares at you. Cormac, Rosie, what do you do?
I'm gonna... I don't want this thing. I'm gonna try and just scare it. I'm gonna just like make a whoop and hit... try to like just smack against a tree in a way that makes some noise.
It is entirely unfazed, and if anything, it starts to move towards you again.
Okay. Oh shit! I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna like put an arm in front of Rosie and just both start like kind of like backing up a little bit, or like keep her like backing up a little bit with me.
Yeah, I don't want to get rabies.
Oh shit! I have to take a stress.
All right, so as you're backing away from this fungal-coated deer, we're going to hop back to Grom. Grom, you're sitting there. Your friends aren't in the shed. They're not by the beach. They're not swimming. They're not on the dock. They're not at the campground, or at least they weren't. Or the camping area. How could they be?
I don't know if there's anywhere that's left. To be.
No, you don't. But
yeah.
As you are contemplating the predicament you find yourself in, you hear another yell. Could be Richard. It starts as like a pained yelp, like a ah, and ends in sort of a long, dragged out rasp almost. So it's like a that catches your ear.
Can I tell which direction it's coming from?
So we're back towards the campground.
Cool. I kind of figured I would go back that way anyway. That is where the snacks are, and that's where I'm supposed to meet Rosie and Cormac at some point. So, yeah, I'm gonna head that way. Just sort of casual stroll.
Sure.
Unfazed.
Oblivious.
Are you going right back towards the fire pit where you guys were?
Yeah, I think that would. You said there's like probably embers that we didn't put it out, so it's just like some glow.
In theory, if you had some nice firewood, you could probably start it back up. But at this point, it's mostly out. But as you arrive back at the campground again, you see the familiar tent. And in the vague light shining from the fire pit, you see a form. It's almost like they're standing above the fire, staring into it. And just the shadow they cast could be Richard.
I reprise my chorus of, "Yo, dude."
Yo, dude. Do you have a flashlight?
Just my phone.
Do you shine it on them?
Yeah. I probably needed it just to walk here.
As you shine the light up, I don't know if Grom would be quite prepared for the sight you see. You do see Richard, his back at least. And as you go, yo, dude, it turns and shuffles, and it's not just Richard. It's Henry, Richard, and Jill. It's as if someone took Richard's body and burst forth from within are mycelial cords that spread out, grasping onto the forms of both Henry and Jill, grafting them together in one grotesque creature. Blue mushrooms sprout out of their skin and around. The shambling form of Richard makes up the main central body. Henry is sort of draped over the back. You can see their arms are kind of splayed out and they're almost twitching, kind of like attached to the back of Richard. And grafted to his side, almost dragged along, you see Jill, and her eyes flicker up towards you with the light, and you see this the look of recognition as she feebly calls out for help.
Oh.
And this amalgam, this mass of three bodies bound together by fungal cord begins shifting in your direction. I need you to take one stress, and then tell me what you do.
I want to get the hell out of there real fast. Probably let a feeble yelp out and just kind of like turn tail as fast as I can. Just walk or run rather. I guess where I was coming from, so like back towards the boathouse.
Okay. You let out that feeblest of yelps. It is just loud enough to carry over the trees to catch Rosie and Cormac as you are exiting the woods, heading back into the main campground. And again, it's a little vague to tell what it was. Just a little like, that catches your ears in the silence of the night. What are you two doing?
I think we're afraid of rabies more than anything. We're gonna keep an eye on that deer as we kind of I think I'm gonna walk backwards through the woods, which is always a good idea.
Again, but you're walking backwards through the woods, and that faint noise catches your ear of Grom's yelp.
That doesn't sound like Jill.
No, that's...
No. Grom wouldn't do that for the clout.
No. I think he'd do it for a doobie, but he's not doing it for a... How do we know where we are in relation to the woods now, or are we just in the middle of it and just...
You were basically in the middle of it, but backing up, it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to retrace your steps, or at least retrace the direction of your steps.
Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Let's go to the camp. The camp is safe, you know.
Yeah. If we back up far enough away that I feel like we can kind of like turn and leave the deer, I'll just kind of like push Stella ahead of me, not like shove her, but just like keep her like in front, and I'll stay behind. I'll keep glancing over my shoulder at this deer, but like try to just get the fuck out of the woods.
Now, you'll notice as you look over the shoulder, the deer is definitely like following you, but not in such a manner where you can't outpace it.
I would like to outpace it.
Okay.
Possible,
Yeah.
please.
Shifting back through the woods, and you reemerge back into the normal campground. As we flip back to Grom. Grom, as you're shifting back towards the boathouse, or at least the shoreline with which you started from there, you hear the shifting mass, the thudding of the footsteps quickly at your heels, the dragging of a body alongside it, the soft whimpers of Jill, and the sharp, almost yells coming out of Richard's body as it shambles behind you. The whole thing just ever so slightly glowing in those blue mushrooms and cords that stretch out and connect the bodies to each other. What are you doing?
Ideally, still running far away.
Okay. You're
yeah,
running,
as fast
but you
as I can.
without spending a significant amount of time looking behind you, you can hear the footsteps, you hear the shambling mass shifting and following you down this direction. It's a little hard to tell how far it is, but you're able to quickly move down the path. You do see the space opens up to form the shoreline. You see the dock, you see the boathouse ahead of you. What are you doing?
I think I might try to get one of these rowboats and just like get out into the middle of the water, because it seems like something that wouldn't be a swimmer.
Okay. So you make it to the shed. You've cut the lock off of it. The doors are still kind of like wide open in the front. The back doors are still closed. You left those, but there are those 8 rowboats, or 6. What did I say? 6 rowboats in that shed there.
Yeah. I just aspire to take one.
Okay, how do you go about doing that?
Are they just like, they're just like on the wall? Are they like,
There's
just
like a custom wooden racks that are sort of built to hold that. So they're probably like stacked one over the top of each other, slid in at an angle. And they're glorified canoes, basically. To call them a rowboat is even a stretch. So it's a little difficult. They take a little time for one person to pull it out because they're heavy. But there are, like I said, 6 of them kind of set up on those racks there.
Yeah, I think I'm just sort of
Okay.
scrambling, like trying to pull one down.
So if you've jumped into the shed itself, you're pushing and pulling and shifting, and these are heavy. It's going to take a little bit of time to get them down. I need you to make a strength save for me, please.
All right.
You're rolling 1d20 equal to or under your current strength score.
Not good.
Not good.
I rolled a 19.
A 19, lovely. That's a failure. So you're sitting there, and it does not come easy without a second person. This is going to take a considerable amount of time, but you're sitting there pulling and shifting. And as you're sitting there, trying to get this boat off the rack and not being able to do it quickly, you can do it eventually. But what hits your ears is the silence. And we're going to hop back over to Rosie and Cormac. You've exited the woods. What do you do?
I think our plan is just to kind of head back to the campsite, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where we expect to meet, Grom.
You make it back to the camp. The embers have died down. There is no Grom. Not here. And off in the distance, you hear that haggard-like yelp. Presumably from Richard. It sounds like that. Followed by like the clang of wooden doors against their frame. But after that, it's silent.
We need to go over there, right?
What the fuck is happening? I don't understand.
We I mean, it's better to be safe. I mean, I know we said staying in one place is the best 'cause that's how you not get lost in the woods. But better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, but like, did we eat bad brownies? I'm not getting what is happening. Everyone's running in directions and yelling. We gotta go that way, right?
Maybe there's mushrooms. Maybe the spores are fucking with us. Maybe this place is a fungal nightmare, man.
I'm just glad we bought the brownies and not the mushrooms on this trip, is all I'm saying. Do we go towards wherever Grom is, I guess?
Yeah, no, that
stuff around.
That I mean, the wooden. I mean, it sounds like it's the lake.
Yeah. No, it's definitely got to be towards the lake. Let's try to find at least one person out of like the 5 people that are missing. If we can get one, I'll feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
You venture off down the path, heading towards where you heard the clattering of, wood door against frame. As you get closer to the lake, you do hear the grunts and shifts of Grom trying to pull the boat off the rack, echoing in the distance. But you also hear, just off the path to your right, soft crying and Jill's voice saying, "Wasn't supposed to go like this."
Shit. Let's head towards the voice.
Yeah.
We gotta. Yeah.
Head towards Jill. Yeah.
Head towards Jill.
No. As you walk off the path into a cluster of the trees here. You see Jill peeking out from behind a tree. It's mostly like her arm over the top of her head, and her other hand is like covering her face. Her skin looks white, almost translucent. It's like the veins beneath it are trying to burst from underneath. And as you get a little closer, there's that snap of twigs beneath your feet. You see her eyes, they're kind of like, she's sitting to the side for the most part, just kind of hanging there. They lock up. Cormac, she looks straight into your eyes. Says, "You need to run."
The fuck are you doing, Joe?
And as you say that, her body quakes and like twitches as if she'd been puppeted and outside of her control. Her eyes lose focus and the rest of that form shifts. Again, as Jill kind of pushes out from behind the trees, you see it's really that she's almost grafted to like the waist and thigh of Richard, who shifts and moves out. You see the legs of Henry draped over Richard's shoulders, the rest of his body presumably over the top of it. Richard himself is just bursting with fungal cords and mushrooms that wrap around the other two. His eyes are just white. They have no focus on them, and the whole mass and form starts shifting in your direction. You are very close. What do you do?
I yell quite loudly.
Yeah. We're both screaming.
Both screaming.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is combat. Now, this creature is very close to you. If you don't act or if you don't do anything, it's going to get you. But first, we need to see who gets to go first.
What
was it?
I've actually got a question. Would we take stress because it's the first time we've seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't help the GM.
Well, no, because I wanna, because I've got, 1 hit point maximum, not one hit protection maximum. So I want to see my character get messed up. And now,
cool, yeah.
yeah, I want.
And we
I want
never
to see this.
declared that we rested or took a breather or anything, right? When we got to about the campfire, we wouldn't have taken a breather or anything, right? Like,
No, no.
You gotta let me know.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
All right.
Cool.
So you
Good
both take a
times.
stress, and then Liminal Horror, the combat is pretty free form. If we need exact combat rounds, we will do so. But first, the simplest way is just to see who gets to go first. I need you to make dexterity saves, but we will deal with that in 1 second because Rosie, Stella, you're gonna make a control save with that new total.
I just did it, and I just beat it, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you're able to kind of hold your own and resist the horror that you see ahead of you.
So sad.
But with that in mind, I need both of you to make dexterity saves.
Alrighty. That is a success, I guess. 13 under.
Okay.
No, 11 under 13.
Okay, perfect.
It's equal or less, right?
Equal to or less, yes.
I got an 11 for an 11.
All right, lovely. So the both of you are able to act before this creature does. It is just a couple of steps away from you as it pushed out from behind the trees that it was hiding behind. It's kind of hard to tell with this thing. But you yell, and you conveniently have the chance to act. What do you do?
I'm gonna chuck the broken mag light directly at the thing.
All right, so most weapons deal d6 damage when they are used as a weapon. If you're just fighting with your fists, that's a d4, and then it kind of goes up from there. Two-handed weapons are typically d8, so on and so forth. So using a maglite as a weapon, throwing that heavy-ass thing at this creature is going to deal d6 damage. Again, if it reasonably makes contact, it's going to. We just need to roll for it.
Yep.
See how badly it hits.
That is 4.
4, okay. So
Not an insubstantial hit.
not an insubstantial hit. So you throw the light out, and it just like hits the center of mass. You can tell, you hit it, and it's a heavy ass light. But it's not like you did substantial damage to its form. You have depleted some of its hit protection, but not caused serious harm in, mechanics terms.
Makes sense.
So you throw in the flashlight, it clatters off of one of them. Maybe there's a twitch of the flesh as a result, but with that in mind, Cormac, what do you do?
All I have on me are my scissors, my trauma shears or my nursing shears. So I'll snatch those out of my pocket, my scrub pocket, because I'm wearing scrubs. If it's close enough to slash at, I guess I'll just slash at it with them.
Okay. It was a few steps away. You'd have to step up to it.
Ooh.
So, again, these are your 3 friends bound together by a massive fungus.
There's got to be a reason that they're like this. Obviously, it's escaping me why they could possibly be like this, but there's got to be a reason, scientifically. I'll hold it. No, I won't attack them. I think throwing the maglite was a great idea as far as initial reaction, but I think I'll pull the shears and actually just try to just move away from it. I'll hold it in front of me in case they get too close, but I'll pull them out and just back the fuck up.
We technically have a disengage action if that's something you want to take. Under normal circumstances, if you're trying to escape combat, which you're kind of close enough to be engaged in sort of a melee here, you need to make a dexterity save and have a safe place to go to. Otherwise, if you're just backing up, you're still kind of fair game.
Okay, I would like to do that though. I would like to. We just kind of stepped into the woods a little bit, right, and saw Jill doing her thing. So I just leave the woods. I'll run back towards the campsite as my safe space, if that's okay. If I can just
You going towards the campsite or towards the shore where you were headed?
No, fuck that. No, I feel there is more space away from water. So I will be backing up towards
so
the
you're heading
camp.
back towards the campsite. All right, I need you to make a dexterity save to see whether or not you're able to disengage effectively.
I'm not able to disengage.
You're not. All right.
Twice this week I've played a roll under system, which I think is the best D20 kind of system, and I have never rolled higher in my life. I roll an 18. So
An
Dreamer's
18, okay.
curse.
So you're backing up, turning to go, and you hit another root, and it stumbles, so you're not able to kind of get away within this action. Now, I will quickly hop over to Grom, who's not in the combat directly, but it is pretty damn close to you. And you hear the yells of your companions. You're sitting there in the boathouse trying to shift the move, and then you hear both of them yell, and they're pretty close to you. What are you doing?
I think I'm still trying to get this boat. I think stick it to my gut here.
Okay. Continue to push the boat off. All right. If you wish to do that, and we're tying you into the combat, but not necessarily directly in harm's way. Again, I need another strength save to see if you can do it in short order here.
Cool. Nope.
No. Okay. So you continue to push and shove. You are making progress. Don't get me wrong. You probably got it half off right now. You would need at least another turn of combat again to kind of get this boat off, and then maybe more to get it down to where you want it to be. But keep that in mind. But you are making tangible progress. It's just you're not being able to do it quickly. Now, the creature lurches forward at Rosie and Cormac. I'm going to let fate decide who it hits. That's going to be Cormac. Now, it reaches up with a shift of body weight. It's not so much as a strike as it is like a lurch of its form towards you to smack into you. It deals enough damage where I need to dig for my dice. It deals Jesus Christ, that is 10.
Ooh.
Oh, good times. Right. So I have 2 hit protection.
Okay, so you have 2 hit protection.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 reduce to 0. The remaining 7 points of damage applies directly to your strength score.
Wouldn't it be 8? Because it was 10.
The remaining 8 points of damage. I'm an engineer. I know math.
Yeah. I'm a physics dropout. I don't know it.
The remaining 8 points of damage applies directly to your strength score, and I need you to make a strength save to avoid taking critical damage.
Well, good times. With the new score, obviously.
Yes.
I rolled another 18.
That is a failure. Now, with the new version of Liminal Horror that we're working on, we have this system that's called wounds, where when instead of, under the normal circumstances, when your character takes critical damage, when they fail their strength save after taking strength damage, they fall out of combat. The wound system has sort of supplanted that. It's one of the few minor tweaks we're making to the mechanics. Under normal circumstances, your character would take a wound, which applies to their inventory slot the same way that Fallout does and has a number of mechanical effects. However, this creature, I call it the Anthromycin, it's better known as the Flesh Hydra, has a special condition. It's called Wingspan of Severed Arms. As it collapses down and lurches itself at Cormac, it knocks you back, and you feel this flood of just spores burst off it and enter your skin, your face, your hands, your lungs. And you feel the hands of Richard, of Jill. Henry's kind of tugged over the back, so he's kind of hanging out there. Grab onto you, and in your dazed state, they are pulling you off the ground and attaching you to that mass of fungal form as Cormac is assimilated into the flesh hydra.
Rip.
Now, Rosie, you watch this happen as your friend is pulled and made into this form, this shambling mass of fungus and flesh. What do you do?
Okay. I think I'm in full fight or flight mode, and I've mostly been in flight for this time, but I think the Maglite did something. I think I'm gonna look for like a large branch or something that I could use as like a makeshift weapon.
All right. You're going to take I'll let you have it. You get a branch. It's a D6 damage if you want to roll it.
All right. I'm wailing, you know. That is a mighty, mighty one.
Mighty one. It's like the branch just shatters against its back. And we're going to end here. The branch shatters. This form turns and shifts. Cormac, with whatever consciousness you have left as this creature is assimilating you, your eyes lock with Rosie sitting there holding the shattered remains of the branch, staring down this massive form. Now, one last thing. We see Grom. You've pulled the boat out. What do you do with it?
My plan is to just like row out to the middle of the lake and wait, I guess, or like just wait till morning and assume this thing can't swim.
So you hop in the boat after hearing the yells and screams of your friends. Push it into the water, hop in, and use the oars to push yourself out onto the glass still water of the lake. As you turn and stare back into the campground with which you left, you feel you've made it a sufficient distance away, and hopefully this thing can't swim. But you hear a little splash of water, and pop, something lands in your boat. You hear it come flapping around. What do you do?
I flash my phone light at it, assuming I still have some battery.
Sure. Looks like a fish. That's kind of flipped out of the water and landed in your boat.
That's fine. I think instinctually Grom needs to put it back.
As you go grasp it, you can see it looks like a trout, like a rainbow or what have you. But as you grasp it to put it back into the water, you notice it's slimier than usual. Has this fine white, almost hairs coating the outside of its body. And it wriggles out of your hand and ploops into the water. But just before it does, there's a white powder or particulate substance that burst from this fish. Get on your hands and your skin. And the fish lands in the water and swims away. And we'll leave tonight's session at that.
Oh, that was fun.
That was good times.
I I contend, even though I didn't survive, I am the final girl because the other girl died before me. So it works
There you
out.
go.
All right. This was Camp Coldwater. Like I said, it is technically a prequel to The Bloom. But it's also the adventure we're working on of integrating into the current deluxe edition of Liminal Horror out sometime in 2024.
Yeah,
Let's
very exciting.
wait for that. I don't know, I've said this before. It's crazy the amount of stuff we're getting. Hopefully, with the next year, Mothership, Dolmenwood, like basically all of the classic games are getting re-ups, and I'm so excited that Liminal Horror is getting a second edition as well. It's such a fantastic game. This has been really, really awesome to play. And I feel like there was like a steep, like everything's weird, and then suddenly there's like a fungus flesh golem that's just gonna assimilate. So I think, Josh, that is the second TPK we've had on the stream in one way, shape, or form across the various things we do here. So thank you for assimilating me into the fleshy form of my friends.
You know, it's mysterious. Only one is officially dead. The other two, we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, technically, yeah, let me get rid of that slash on Rosie there. I'm super dead. So the Bloom is out now, like you said. There's some other stuff going on that's available as well. It's pretty much all through the Space Penguin Ink store, right?
Yeah, so if you are, just catching the stream and you're like, what's Liminal Horror? We are currently in the process of sort of migrating between our publishers. We have some of our legacy stuff that's sitting on Exalted Funeral, and it's basically just until the stock runs out. You can get our prior two modules, the Mall, which is the thing in the 1990s shopping mall, or the Bureau, which is, I call it the video game Control meets, Mothership's Gradient Descent. Those are our two prior modules. Those are still available through Exalted Funeral, as well as the original, like we're calling it the legacy version now of Liminal Horror as a system, the little zine that we have. In the future, we will be releasing, it's called the Investigator Edition, I think. I forgot what Goblin Archives renamed it because my brain is farting right now. But we're doing I guess a remaster of the zine. It's got all new layout. It's got some of our new ideas that we're integrating into the deluxe edition, and it's our stopgap effectively. So keep an eye out for that. That is currently under proofreading and will be out in the near future. Oh, there we go. So Ryan's also got a special print of our next adventure, next physical one, that is One Night at the Shelterwood Inn. That was our official crossover adventure with the Triangle Agency RPG, and you can watch a couple actual plays. We ran both sides of that adventure here on the Weekly Scroll back in the summer. That's available digitally right now if you want to go check it out. The physicals are coming at some point in the future. We're just kind of waiting on the stock to print and whenever get those out. But there's more stuff coming. We're going to do a couple of small things over the course of the next year while we are in the lead up to the deluxe edition as well. But just to keep this brief, the deluxe edition is not necessarily like a true second edition of Liminal Horror. It's a little bit of a cleanup, a couple of additional mechanics. The base game stays the same. It's completely compatible with your adventures that you've already purchased and the zine that you have. But we are expanding the content. We're giving it new layout. We're giving a bunch of GM tools. We're explaining some of the stuff that we've been kind of implying. We're going to do some setting details. And then if all goes well, we're putting 2 adventures in there, including Camp Coldwater. And that'll be out, like I said, the goal is next year. But we got a lot of work to do, so we'll see.
Yeah. And some shirts also on SPI right now as well. Definitely snagged that pink and black one. Anyone that's seen the show knows that pink and black's kind of our thing here. So definitely snag that right away.
Through Space Penguin, they're doing some apparel service. We've got a couple of new hoodies. One of them is the Camp Coldwater logo, which I did the design work on. There's 2 different versions of that you can get. And then there is just a plain Liminal Horror shirt that was done by the owner of the Filthy Loot publishing brand, whose name is escaping me. But they did a cool like metal version of Liminal Horror that's out there. There we go. It looks just like that. You can get that on a t-shirt. And then we're doing like tote bags and shit too, but go to Space Penguin. You'll find all this fun stuff there.
And And speaking of some other stuff on Space Penguin, Stella, you also have some new stuff on Space Penguin.
Yes, I do. I've been working very closely with Jarrett Crater in regards to this project, and basically the situation as it is now is we're going to just try to pump out as much quality content as humanly possible. We've got the bloom on there. Wait, but before you show that, we must ask the question: can you show nipples on a Twitch stream, even if they're drawn?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, well, there is Prison of the Forsaken Bear God, which is, I'm trying to get it on my camera. That is well censored. That is, good Christian family fun. It is another Space Penguin product that is that features it features, if you couldn't tell, at least in some part, a fungally overgrown bear, which makes it in good company with the bloom, although it's not as focused on that. It's a minor hex crawl to steal the name of a god that is based off of the Germanic bear taboo and Finnish folk belief about the power of mothers. And I'll leave it at that because I don't know how explicit I can get on a Twitch stream, but it's good. Goodman Games made sure that we printed, this product is intended for mature audiences. However, I will contend it's for immature audiences, as things are. But other than that, there hasn't been much. Soon-ish, there is, if you're familiar with me from my works with Rimbound Transmission, very soon I'm going to be doing a revised edition of the first 12 with a proper edit job this time, which I think is much needed. And my final thing is actually a call to action. If you've been thinking, oh, I should learn how to play an instrument, stop thinking that. Start doing it now. Not, oh, it'd be cool to do that someday. Do it. Do it now.
So should you get that banjo?
Yeah.
There you go.
No, my banjo's in the other room.
Oh, geez,
yeah.
I was kind of kidding, but lovely.
Yeah.
And where can people outside of SPI, the Space Penguin, where can people find your stuff, Stella?
Well, you can find me on itch.io at, I think it's just 500 pounds of nothing. You can also find me on Blue Sky, where it's 500 pounds of nothing.bluesky.social. However, I don't talk about RPG stuff there. I'm also on Tumblr at just pounds of nothing, and I also don't talk about RPG stuff on there. Because once I was free of RPG Twitter, I was free.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Adam, what do you have cooking right now?
Thankfully, within arm's reach, I have some horror games that I designed, all original systems. I got press play, found footage, role playing. I got Stab, the official role playing game of the movie that doesn't exist. Ritual, folk horror role playing. This is never. I just have all this out from a photo shoot. How to summon a spirit. Dialect hack about urban legends like Bloody Mary and how they change over time. And Ever Dream This Man, a creepypasta inspired collaborative nightmare. I'm making bespoke horror games and unique little systems all the time, and they're at worldchamp.io in print and worldchampgameco.itch.io for digital. That's my hubs.
Just a few things.
I had mine.
There's more.
My trick or treat bag of stuff right here. With
I just released that this month. 5 new games that come in the trick or treat bag, as well as 1978 is supposed to come out probably next week. My 2-player competitive slasher RPG.
Oh yeah, you worked on that with Logan Dean, right?
Yes, Logan was a writer on that.
Very excited for that. We recently reviewed The Company, great game from Logan. Definitely check that out. But also, I mean, speaking of the games that you just dropped, especially in this trick or treat bag, you're going to be coming back on the show, and I think it's 2 weeks, and you, me, and Hunter are going to be running one of these games. Yeah,
Halloween weekend. I'm not sure which one. I actually am, as of today, leaning towards No Future, which is the Green Room meets Groundhog's Day, dying over and over at a hardcore show, time loop horror.
Oh yeah.
What I mean, we've said many times this is an Adam Vass stand podcast, so whatever you run, me and Hunter are going to be very excited for. As soon as he gets done with his move, we'll be continuing the month of horror here on the channel. But all of you, seriously, thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of everyone that's on the show. I feel like just some schmuck surrounded by incredibly talented, creative people, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. Josh is going to be a kind of a regular staple here on the show, running a lot of these side quests. So fantastic, Jim. Thank you for running that, and you'll see much more of him, much more of Liminal Horror, and much more from all of these people here with us today. But I think that's about it. Definitely go to Space Penguin. Got a bunch of awesome stuff. Jarrett Crater's really killing it. Everything that's been coming out is fantastic. Grab Stella stuff. Grab everything from Liminal Horror. And make sure you go over to World Champ to grab everything from out of Vass, just like I have, because I think I have like 98% of everything Adam's ever put out. So definitely grab all of that. And I think that's it. I think that is our side quest episode 3 for Liminal Horror Camp Coldwater.
Hell yeah. Woo! Buy that instrument. You know you want to.
There you go. Everyone have a wonderful night. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.